Greetings, friends and fiends, and welcome to The Keep. I am Lindsay the Keeper, and it is my duty to protect this reality from eldritch horrors by reading tales from r/RPG horror stories. So this year is coming to an end. 2022 will be over, and 2023 will be on the horizon. So I wanted to end the year not with an RPG horror story, but its polar opposite, a RPG glory story. For those who may not know, there is a subreddit known as r/RPG glory stories, where unlike r/RPG horror stories, these stories are about both players and DM's greatest moments in-game, like rolling a nat 20 to persuade the dragon to join forces with the party, to beating a very dangerous mercenary in one round of combat. It's stories like these that will continue our love of TTRPGs. But before I begin, I want to change the scene for this coming year. There we go, that's better. In today's tale, OP tells their story about their character's journey from the beginning all the way up to the moment when it was revealed that he was a dragon all along, and the other players loved it. Now, sit back, relax, and cuddle up to your favorite Tindril as I read this glorious tale. Enjoy! This is written by users DMS James with the long title, Wait, you're a dragon? Players love and embrace the shocking reveal their companion is a dragon. Hello everybody! I wanted to take a moment to share one of my favorite moments as a player. I'm writing this as a contrast to an r/RPG horror story I wrote where my sniper was horrifically bashed and abused by the DM and party members. This is a treasure moment to me, so I hope you enjoy it too. For context, this story takes place in D&D 3.5 edition in the Forgotten Realms setting. I was a player in this game, and the game had a decently sized group. Here is a collection of artwork of Payton's human form so you can visualize the story easier. I will place the photo here for a bit so you can have a visual look at this character. Also, it is important to note that I worked out Payton's draconic form to be more anthropomorphic, in contrast to the traditional walks on all fours appearance. Think a dragonborn with wings, or World of Warcraft's Drakthar? I don't know if I said it right because I never played World of Warcraft, so I do apologize in advance. The story. In Payton's background, he was found as an infant inside of a small wicker basket on the steps of a monastery of Calamore, Forgotten Realms' god of death. While not an ideal choice of a parent to abandon their child, it was within the nearest population center, found with only one clue to his identity, a crystal vial containing dragon's blood around his neck. Nobody knew who left him behind. Payton was adopted by the High Undertaker of Calamore, a dwarf named Redrick Toombs, and named after Redrick's father and grandfather respectively. There he learned of the practice of monetary work, learned the art of undertaking, and medical examination. He dug graves, helped administer funeral rites, performed autopsies, and sought out necromancers who violated the sanctity of death. Though controversial, this paladin, Grey Knight template, also assisted those who wished to die. He never questioned motives, but simply provided the service when requested. Payton became introduced to the group when a massive undead outbreak had spawned across the land. Payton was found in a field, beating down a small army of skeletons with his silvered holy shovel. Seriously. The group laughed in and out of character, saying his choice of weapon was quite apropos. Speaking with a very New Orleans style of the U.S. Southern accent, the plain-spoken and stoic knight agreed to join their cause and assist the group in their quest to stop the undead uprising. For many game sessions, Payton served as a frontline combatant, an off-healer, a cult expert, and even acted as a moderator for in-party disputes. His calm, soothing voice, There are words to describe my voice acting here. Often put even the most heated arguments to rest. He was very endeared to his group. In one session, to escape the horrors of the campaign, the party stopped in Neverwinter to enjoy some well-earned R&R. The party indicated that they wanted to visit a brothel, and they jumped at the chance. Payton, however, sat in the lobby. He drank cocoa and wrote in his journal. When the bard emerged from his dalliance to pay for more of them, he asked Payton why he wasn't enjoying the women of the establishment. Payton removed his reading glasses and told him that the establishment didn't cater to his sexuality, that he preferred men. This shocked the bard so much that he fetched his clothes and interviewed Payton on the spot about this. Payton downplayed his sexuality, saying that if it was important, he'd have revealed it sooner, and that normally he considered this to be his business. The group's bard applauded Payton's coming out, as did the rest of the party. Payton would foreshadow the big reveal he was a dragon by saying,
"There are a great many secrets I carry beneath my skin, and I'm positive that even I am unsure what those may be."
I want to note, Payton wasn't aware he was a dragon. Only I and the DM knew the truth. On the day of the big reveal, we were assaulting the keep of a powerful vampire lord. We caught a swoop through his minions, and were in his throne room at last. The usual back and forth exchange between BBEG and the party plays out, and we vowed to stop him. The battle begins. Halfway through the fight, the vampire states that the fun and games were at an end, and began to cast a spell. Harm. Payton was the only one that made the spellcraft check to notice this. Payton decided that he was going to sacrifice himself in order to stop the bard from being blasted by the spell. He leaped in front of the spell and took it to the face. The effect was devastating, and shattered the crystal vial around his neck. He landed, and sulfuric smoke bellowed throughout the room. When the smoke cleared, a large-sized anthropomorphic red dragon stood where the human had once been laying.
"Boldly you trifled with powers you shouldn't have. Brazenly you have defiled and desecrated the dead. Your malice and malcontent has led you to this moment. In the name of Kelemvor, god of the dead, I smite thee!"
Thunderous cheers went up around the table as players couldn't believe their ears. The bard's player started to chant, "Nuke, nuke, nuke, nuke!" I had never felt so encouraged and happy in all my life of gaming. Payton channeled his might, threw his breath weapon, and shot a beam of fire right into the vampire's chest. He roasted and burned in holy fire, destroyed untoned final death. With the vampire's death, all undead activity in the area stopped. The hordes of zombies and skeletons turned and returned to their graves, and the day had been saved. The party rushed and hugged Payton. They congratulated him on literally saving the day and the life of the bard, who often annoyed them. Payton was humbled. He said it was his sacred duty and did it without question. He couldn't allow the bard to be turned into an undead, even if that meant his own life. The party left, returned to the origin point of the story to celebrate and earn their rewards. Payton, however, exited the party for the downtime. He said that now more than ever, there are questions needing to be answered, and he would have them. The party wished him well, and Payton flew off into the sunrise. After that session ended, the fellow players were wowed by the secret. They were amazed nobody had noticed until then. Our DM explained that numerous times he's had the party roll various skill checks to see if they had any insight, but no one had succeeded. The players commended me for my acting, and that going with the southern accent made Payton such a soothing presence they never would have guessed. Epilogue and Player's Notes. These are notes of what happened regarding Payton up until the campaign's complete end. Payton, during the downtime, had scoured the land in search of knowledge of his draconic lineage. As dragons, reds especially, guard their possessions and clutches closely. Payton learned that his parents had become targets of a zealous order of dragon slayers. His sisters, brothers, and even nieces and nephews had all been slain by this order, the Dragon Renders. The Renders mark the elder dragons of the flight, wishing to grant their order far more legitimacy in the world and be viewed as more than a new religious movement. They armed themselves with dragon-bane weapons, and their leader wielded an artifact sword dubbed Dragonrack. Dragonrack, a +5 dragon-slaying dragon-bane weapon, also came with a unique interest trait, which gives it the reckoning part of its name. Upon a critical strike, the sword would continue to deal bane damage until a remove curse spell was performed. Payton's mother and father had both been cursed. Having hidden the hatchling Payton in her mouth, she promised her mate that not all the flight would die. Payton's father remained to buy her time. She flew to the necropolis where the Temple of Calamore happened to lie. It was the nearest establishment she could reach, while dying from her curse. She landed, extracting Payton from her mouth, and held him to her breast. She wept hard. The young hatchling asked her why she wept. She, through tears, said it would be better that he forgot, so that he would be spared the pain of what he saw. This meant forgetting her. She tapped at his head and erased all his memories before greater polymorphing him into a human. This variant of the spell would suppress nearly all dragon-based abilities, merits, and defenses. The only trait of dragons he kept was the red flight's immunity to fire. She placed the infant in a basket she found nearby, left it on the stoop, and limped away. With one final sobbing glance, she flew off into the remote mountains. There, she soared as high as she could, and Sparrow drove right into the mountain below to deny the order to kill, ending on her own terms. Payton was devastated to learn this, to say the very least. When he learned the truth, his mother's spell broke, and he remembered it all. It sent Payton into a spiraling depression. He already felt alone in the world, despite all his friends. He had no family left, so he returned to Neverwinter and took a drink. Now, out of character, I stated at this point that I was unsure how to continue Payton's story and left it up to the other players and our DM to suggest angles for him. I was totally down to keep playing him, but I was unsure how I wanted to develop the character further. My roommate, who happened to be playing in the group, suggested a possible romantic angle. He had a recurring character named Seth, short for Seraphim, who was an interdimensional mysterious stranger. Like the protagonist of Quantum Leap, Seth would arrive in a new world, strip of the power he'd earned from the previous, but retaining his memories. He'd learn of problems in the world, solve them, until he solved the one in that world that would propel him to the next world. He suggested to our DM that we use this character from a romantic angle. I agree, and so did our DM. Payton met Seth at that bar. Both shared their stories, which mirrored one another. Seth said that both of his parents were killed by his aunt in an attempt to usurp the throne. All were dead now, and he too wondered about the future. Payton felt so much empathy that he offered to spend the night with Seth, and they did. Things got heated, and the pair had sex. Now returning back in character, Seth remained a secret background romance. As he was invigorated and encouraged, the party decided to eliminate the Dragon Renders. At the end of this chapter of the campaign, Payton revealed Seth to the group. The party was ecstatic for him. The group's cleric even performed their wedding. The campaign ended there, and the newlyweds flew off together to build Payton's secret volcano lair. End of story. I want to give a special thanks to my wonderful friend and dungeon master, Dante Wolf, for voicing Payton. I would have done it myself, But let's be honest, it wouldn't be as smooth as his was, and I could never give Payton the justice he deserves. Back to the story on hand. Games like these are where you get one of the joys of being a player. It's stories like these that will always be repeated, no matter how long ago they are from the moment it happened. Even members of Critical Role, Dimensional 20, and yes, even Thomas Sanders role-playing with Roman have moments that they love telling people when it comes to TTRPGs. I can add this to a special shelf and relax for the rest of this year, and hope that next year can be a bit more tolerable. If not, that's okay. Also, for foreshadowing sakes, I will be reading OP's horror story as well. Maybe it might be the first horror story of the new year, but we will have to see now, won't we? Now that the story is over, and reality is still in a state of calm, I'm going to depart for now. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos. If you have your own RPG horror stories, or some TTRPG randomness you'd like me to discuss, contact me through email or subreddit. Until then, I will see you in the next video.